Well, hello again, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us for today's BU Alumni Career Webinar, Slow Down to Get Ahead, Mindfulness for Work-Life Balance. My name is Jeff Murphy. I'm a member of the Alumni Career Engagement Team in the BU Office of Alumni Relations. Today's event is offered to our 366,000 alumni around the globe, and of course, all of our current students. Throughout your career, BU is committed to helping you define and achieve your professional goals, and we aim to do this by providing everyone with access to a series of valuable online tools and social media communities. We were talking about this right before we got started. I know we have folks joining us from some very far away places around the world. Please know that we really do value your participation in this and every program that we offer. Before I introduce today's speaker, just a couple housekeeping notes from me. Today's presentation is being recorded and will soon be made available for on-demand viewing on the BU Alumni and Friends website, which you can find at www.bu.edu/alumni. And secondly, our speaker today is very eager to answer any questions that you may have, and you're welcome to submit them throughout the presentation, either using the chat. We also will use, you might notice there's something on Zoom here called the Q&A. Just click on Q&A. You can go ahead and type your question in at any time, and we're definitely going to save time at the end to make sure we get through all of those. It's now my pleasure to introduce our speaker for the day. Has done several of these presentations for us over the years. We are delighted to have her back. It's Wheelock College of Education and Human Development alum, Kim Bilawchuk. Kim is passionate about helping others live in alignment with who they are truly meant to be by slowing down to get ahead. A lifelong learner, she inspires her clients by creating unique approaches to explore and discover their greatest potential for transformation, growth, and healing, giving them individualized support and encouragement to live a life of calm and ease, both personally and professionally, in a safe, supported, non-judgmental environment. Since 2008, Kim has inspired ambitious young and mid-career professionals who are feeling stuck to mindfully create a life and career in alignment with their skills, interests, and values without the struggle of anxiety and overwhelm. She guides them through her unique intuitive process that draws on her backgrounds in corporate human resources, career counseling, yoga, and meditation, giving her clients the confidence and clarity they need to move forward with calm and ease. Kim has her bachelor's degree from UMass Amherst, an MBA from another school down the street from BU, and a master's in education from Boston University. She's also a registered yoga teacher. Kim lives in Lowell, Massachusetts with her husband and her two soccer-playing teenagers and a mutt named Albert. You can learn more about Kim at her website, which is kbcareercoach.com. Kim, delighted to have you back as always. You told me that you've given yourself a new title, that you're now going by career inspirationalist, which I think is awesome. I think I have an idea of what that means, but would you go ahead and tell us a little bit about what career inspirationalist means to you?
Yeah, of course. So thanks so much, Jeff. So as you've said, I've been working in the career space for a really long time. I've added a lot of mindfulness and yoga and have started to sprinkle a little magic into what I do as well. So I felt that career coach was, although a descriptive title, didn't really encompass all that I've done. So I actually worked with a coach who works with people to create hybrid careers. This is a new trend coming that their companies are finding that employees are more than just a title, right? And that their multiple backgrounds actually make them more valuable employees. So I thought that I would jump on that bandwagon and play with this too. So I'm just about to roll it out, and I have some marketing stuff coming out in the next couple of weeks, but you're the first to hear it live in a professional way.
I love it. And knowing you as I've gotten to over the years, I think it's perfect for what you do. And we're thrilled to have you talking about a little bit about that more today. Do you want to go ahead and share your slide deck, and then the floor is all yours?
Of course. Yep. All right. Let's see.
Do you want to start with our first poll?
Yeah, let's do the first poll.
Okay.
I don't know if you can see my chat on here. So my first question here is, do you have a mindfulness practice? And I'm giving you one choice here. So definitely, I practice regularly, and we'll talk about what mindfulness means, but however you define that right now. Sort of, sometimes, not really, maybe you think about it, or not at all. So if you want to hop in and let me know what you're thinking on those areas, I would be happy to know where you're at.
No surprises here to me. I'll go ahead. We have almost everybody that's weighed in here. So sort of sometimes.
Sort of sometimes. Okay, that's pretty good.
Yeah, you see
and
the
we-
result. Oh, you were busy getting your slides up. So we've got about 15% said definitely. 42, almost half of our audience said sort of or sometimes. Then another third said not really, but I think about it. And only a couple people here don't even think about it at all.
Awesome. Well, welcome to everybody. I'm excited to have you all here, and there'll be a little bit of everything for everybody here today. So what I'm going to invite you to do is turn off any notifications on your phone. Unless you've got something really passionate that needs to happen in the next hour, please give yourself the opportunity to be here and be present. This is what we're all about here, is being mindful today. So if that works for you, at least turn it over, maybe tuck it away somewhere and shut off any other notifications. That would be great. So today I'm going to invite you to start by taking a deep breath. So if it feels comfortable for you, feet on the floor, close your eyes. I know some of you are in different time zones than we are here in the Boston area. And then just inhale through your nose if you're able today. Take a deep full breath in, maybe a gentle pause at the top. And then open your mouth and sigh it out. Nobody can hear you unless the people around you, but we can, so let it go. And then again, let's take one more deep full breath in. And open your mouth and let it go. Now on this last one, notice any place you're holding any tension, and imagine your breath is going right to that space and softening and loosening it any amount, maybe holding just a little bit at the top of that breath. And then exhale and let it go. In your own time and space, bring yourself back to the sound of my voice and perhaps your screen, and we'll keep moving here. So Jeff did a great job at introducing me. I don't think there's anything on here that I haven't already said. Jeff and I were saying, or just remembering, I was just remembering that it's been 20 years since I finished my master's degree at Boston University, which feels like a long time ago and quickly all at the same time. I'm also celebrating the 15-year anniversary of starting my own practice, my own business. So lots of things to celebrate this time. So we're going to hop right into this and talk about mindfulness a little bit. And we're going to start on this continuum of time, if we will. And here we are in the present. And a lot of us spend a lot of time worrying about what could be happening in the future. This is where the anxiety and overwhelm comes in about things that we don't necessarily have control over. And sometimes we get stuck in the past where depression and sadness live. And we really can't do anything about those things either. Those serve as learning experiences for us, but the best opportunity for us to be completely present is here in this mindful space. So this is the subject of what we're going to talk about today. And I'm going to encourage you to drop in questions. I do have time at the end. And I think we have at least one more poll. I can't remember if I did two, but Jeff will let me know when we're close to those areas. I have two more. Okay, thanks. All right, so our agenda today, we're going to talk about why slowing down is so essential for our physical and mental health and our well-being. And then we're going to talk about some simple strategies for slowing down, being mindful. And then finally, I'm going to share with you some strategies for creating time for mindfulness. So it's great to be able to have all of these strategies, but if we can't work them into our regular lives, then it's not going to do any good. So I'll give you all of those things today. Before we jump in, I want you to think about what this means for you. So if you have a piece of paper or you want to just think about this in your mind, what does it mean for you to slow down? For some of us, that may mean eliminating some activities. It may be having time to do the things that we want to do. If there's anything that resonates with you, what does that mean to slow down? I'm guessing that you're attracted to this content today because you're maybe not feeling as mindful as you could, or that you've got some opportunities for improvement in your daily lives. So you're in the right space if that's the case. If anybody has any thoughts about what slowing down means to them, doesn't need to physically be physically slow, although that could be part of it too. Maybe we're driving too fast, no judgment there. Anybody have any thoughts about slowing down? And on the flip side of that, slowing down, yeah, it's focusing on what matters. Yeah, exactly. Stepping away, clearing your head, super important to be able to clear your head for sure. I'm going to give you some other examples of what this means and how to do that. And then if we think about slowing down in opposition to getting ahead, how does that mean that you get ahead? What does getting ahead mean for you? Does that give you more space? I'll tell you that it does, and I'll show you how. But what is it that getting ahead does for you? Does that make you feel like you're in more control? Does it allow you to do more things than you have that you're doing now? Definitely easier said than done to slow down or to get ahead for sure. And I'm going to give you some, like I said, some examples of that. So let me start by sharing. Thank you for those of you that have shared. Let's jump in and talk about the impact of not slowing down. So once upon a time, our bodies were in danger of being chased by a tiger. And hopefully for most of us in the lives that we live, whether you're on Comm Ave or anywhere, we're not getting chased by literal tigers, but we still have lots of things that are impacting our emotional system. This is causing stress. Our bodies kick into this natural fight or flight response. Our sympathetic nervous system does a lot of things to help keep us safe in the event that we're getting chased by a tiger. In reality, our tiger is being on time to drop our kids off, or to be at work, or to finish a project, or any number of other things. So the tiger is a symbolic piece of things that are just causing stress in our lives. Animals automatically return to their rest and digest after that stressful situation has removed itself. After the tiger moves away, they're okay. But we don't have that ability to do that quite the same way because we have these constant bombardments of stressors. So what happens when we get stressed? Our pupils dilate, we get tunnel vision. We really want to focus on what's happening. We want to focus on that tiger so that we don't get, so we don't get eaten by that tiger, right? We want to keep moving forward. Our mouth might get dry. We think about if you've done a presentation, sometimes people get really nervous, your mouth gets dry, not fun. Heartbeat is rapid, breathing is shallow. I had you do some deep breath at the beginning just to be able to calm yourself down. I'll tell you why that's important in a little bit. Our digestive system releases and slows down. We don't want to be digesting stuff while we're getting chased by a tiger. Maybe we get hot and sweaty. Maybe our muscles tighten to prepare for that fight or flight response. You can see there are a whole bunch of physiological issues that happen just from that tiger. I'm going to use tiger as sort of a generic stressor here. These are real or perceived threats, right? Sometimes those perceived ones are just as dangerous as the actual real ones. And our bodies release all kinds of extra hormones to help us be prepared for that stressor. Again, it's our sympathetic nervous system. I'm going to add, just sort of talk about the elephant in the room here, right? So for the last 3 years, we've been in the middle of this global pandemic. I think Jeff and I had a presentation scheduled that day that the world sort of closed down, and we had a lot of go back and forth, like, are we going to do this? Or are we not going to do it? So 3 years ago, here we are remotely, not in person. But this has had a significant impact on us, right? Some people have lost loved ones. We've had changes in work styles, changes in education for kids, changes in just about everything that we've done, and a ton of ambiguity around this, right? When are things going to shift? Are they going to go back to the way they were? So I came across this article early in the pandemic. It was from Medium, the references here, but it talked about our surge capacity and why we feel so awful. And really, our surge capacity has been depleted. Surge capacity is a collection of adaptive systems, mental and physical, that humans draw on for short-term survival in acutely stressful situations. Think about a natural disaster. They may occur, something like a hurricane, tornado, blizzard, occurs over a short period of time, but the recovery may be very long. Pandemics are very different. This disaster seemingly stretched out indefinitely. I'm hopeful that we're on the tail end of this, but we're still feeling the impacts of this. Certainly, as things are coming back to the way they may have been, they're really very different, right? Lots of studies being done on the impact on us, emotionally, us as adults, as kids, if we're parents, the way that we do our work, the way that we live our lives is really different. So this has not gone away, and in my opinion, is not going to go away soon. So we need to figure out how to deal with this. one of the ways to deal with this is to build your resilience bank, to be, again, and I'll come back to the mindfulness stuff in a minute, but we have this idea that if we put the oxygen mask on us, then I can help you. And this comes from a point of lack. This means that I don't have the oxygen either. I'm just sort of funneling it through the system to be able to pass it on to you. But I don't have a space where I can really give of my own reserves, right? I'm just passing this through. If we think about this in a different way, right, and fill our own cup to overflowing with whatever that means, if it's slowing down, if it's meditation, if it's doing something with people that we love, if it's doing work that's important to us, then we can give from a point of abundance, not from lack, right? I'm coming from a full cup, and when that overflows, I have more to give to you. So I hope that resonates with you, and I hope that I can give you some pointers today that are going to help give you that ability to take care of yourself. That self-care is really important. It's another subset of a webinar maybe we can talk about at another time, but there's another piece of the puzzle there. So here's the impact. Here's some examples of the impact of long-term or chronic stress on our bodies. Oftentimes, and maybe you noticed this as we were taking some breaths, we tend to hold that tension in our neck, our shoulders, our back, our jaw. Maybe you've got issues there. Sometimes the tension there holds. That may result in migraines, which is not a great thing, right? Increased blood sugar levels may result in diseases like dis-ease, right? Not comfortable. Dis-ease like diabetes. It may result in weight gain, especially in the belly area. No judgment here, but we've been sitting behind Zoom calls for a long time and maybe not moving as much. Long-term stress also suppresses our immune system. We're coming out of this pandemic and we're getting sick in ways that we haven't for a long time. My daughter's dealing with the cold. Somebody says, yep, so true, belly fat. No judgment again, we're all there. Respiratory conditions, right? I have a friend whose daughter is 9 and she's been having chest pains. She's 9 years old. They took her for all kinds of tests. You know what they realized? It's a muscular issue. There's nothing wrong with her heart, but she's so tense and crunched over that they've recommended some strategies just to let her. She's 9, right? This is an impact. This is a big deal, guys and gals and other people. Digestive issues, heart disease, chronic fatigue, panic attacks. Anybody experienced panic attacks over the last 3 years, right? There are lots of mental health issues here from stress, depression, reproductive issues, relationship strain. Anybody's relationship's been strained as a result of all the time we spent in different ways over the last 3 years. So I'm painting sort of a doom and gloom piece here, but stress is a big deal. It causes a lot of issues in our bodies, and it's really important that we collectively, not just us here, but collectively, globally, figure out how to make this better. It's going to have a lot more long-term impacts. So if we're able to slow down and be a little more mindful and present to where we are at, lots and lots of studies, literally thousands of studies, have shown the benefits of slowing down, of mindfulness, meditation, as few as 10 minutes a day, or as few as a handful of sessions. And I'll give you some strategies for doing that in a minute, but let's talk about the benefits of doing this. First, increased patience and calm, right? The ability to notice what your surroundings are and to react in a way that's mindful to what's happening and not just a reactive, like, this doesn't feel good. It might not feel good. If we take a deep breath back, it can increase our patience and calm. Wouldn't that be a great benefit of slowing down? Again, we can't give to others what we can't give to ourselves. So if we refill our own cup, we have more to give to someone else. Improved focus and attention. Knowing that, let me ask you this question. Has anybody ever left a situation that they were working on, something at work, something that really needed some big problem solving, and you couldn't figure it out, and you go for a walk, you go get a drink of water, and you go get a breath of fresh air, and all of a sudden you're like, hey, wait a second, I have an idea, and you come back and work again, right? So it's that same slowing down part, that removal from our day-to-day craziness, that's going to give us that improved focus and attention. Clearly important for people who are flying planes like this. Improved performance is great too. Your ability to focus on something and to perform well. Athletes do not perform and practice every single day. They need a day of rest in order to come back a little bit stronger and a little bit more focused in their world. And I know BU's got some big games coming up this weekend, right, for their hockey games. And if anybody saw any of the basketball this weekend, I'm not a basketball fan, full disclosure, but those were some amazing games. Those athletes are not practicing every day. The rest is just as important as and actually there's some studies that show that envisioning, actually I might be getting ahead of myself here. I'm going to hold that thought for a second. Better sleep. If you can relax your body, then you can sleep better. I don't know about you, but lots of people I know have had lots of sleep issues during the course of the pandemic, and stress is a big piece of that. Increased creativity and innovation, again, stepping away to be able to focus your attention a little bit better, to be more creative, to have better ideas, go for a walk, get a drink of water, take some deep breaths. Overall, improved mental health. So really, again, coming back to these same things, right? If we can be better people for ourselves, then we can be better people for others. We can reduce our depression, our anxiety, and all the other issues that fall out as a result of that. All right, so now I've painted this doom and gloom. I've given you a little bit of opening here to get things better. I'm going to offer you some simple strategies for slowing down. So if you've got a piece of paper there, take some notes here. We'll use these as guidelines for moving forward. So first, I'm going to share a secret here. Virtually no one is going to know what you're doing when you're doing any of these strategies, right? They're things you can do anytime, anywhere. There are no special props required. You don't need incense or a special meditation cushion or a special yoga pants. You could, if you want, go at it, but you don't have to do it. You can practice these techniques anytime, anywhere, mostly anytime, anywhere. I'll give you a few caveats. And they're all free. Like I said, unless you want new yoga pants, no need to do them for me. This is all super easy to do. So first thing that I love to do for mindfulness is come to your senses. And this is a basic activity to just pause and notice what's going on around you. So what can you see? And you may do this right now. Just notice what you can see in your space. Notice maybe the lighting. Is there something, do you have a window that you can see? Is there clutter on your desk? You're working on your lunch right now, maybe dinner, or depending where you're at. What can you hear? Can you hear things inside your space? Are there other people, voices, maybe a pet? Can you hear things outside of your window or outside of your space? Can you bring it really close in? Can you hear the sound of your breath? Maybe the clock ticking, maybe a fan of some sort of air conditioning or heat in your system. What can you feel? And the feeling part's interesting. The feeling is focusing here on the physical part. Can you feel your seat on the seat? Can you feel your feet on the floor? Can you feel the sensation of the clothing on your skin? Can you feel your breath maybe coming in and out of your nose? Can you feel your hair maybe touching your face? Just noticing and being really present to how you're feeling. Can you taste anything? Maybe you're not eating anything right now, but maybe there's some taste of whatever you've just had. Water, coffee, whatever snack you've had. Maybe it's just the taste of what your mouth tastes like. That's okay. And finally, taking a deep breath in. What can you smell in your space? Is it you? Is it somebody making lunch? Is it something around you? Maybe a candle or that incense I mentioned earlier. Now, regardless of what was happening in your life before now, you're focusing on all of those things that are happening at the same time. And if I asked you to stack them on top of each other, thinking about what you see, hear, feel, taste, and smell all at the same time, my guess is that you're not really stressed about anything else that's going on around you. You're really focused on what's happening. You could do this anytime, again, anywhere. Nobody knows you just went through that whole sensory kind of thing, right? Another way to think about being mindful is noticing what you're grateful for today. Super simple technique to either write it down or just notice the things that you're grateful for. My husband goes out and he always says, oh, I hit every red light when I go to the store. I was like, well, what if you hit every red light? What if you hit every green light instead? What if we turn that upside down? Aren't you grateful that you have brakes on your car, that you can stop at those red lights, that you have a car that you can sit in, that you have a destination to go to, that you have money to purchase whatever you need at that store? He's like, oh, yeah, you're right. Right? But you gotta turn it around. Like, what are you grateful for? You know, even if things aren't working exactly the way you want, we have a lot of stuff going for us. The fact that we're all here watching this webinar, that we've all had the ability and privilege to have an education at Boston University or any establishment of higher learning makes us pretty in the top percentage of the world, right? We're pretty lucky. Breathing is the only involuntary system in our bodies that we can override. Breathing is one of those magical tools, again, that nobody's going to see or know that you're doing, just like the gratitude, right? We run through that in our head. You can jot it down. Nobody's going to know. Breathing, again, is the only involuntary system in our bodies that we can override. So we can't change like how our digestion system is working or any of our endocrine systems. Our body will naturally continue to breathe during the night as we're sleeping if we're not paying attention, but we also have the ability to override that. We did that at the beginning of our at the webinar today, and then we did a little bit when we focused on the senses, right? And I asked you to breathe in and focus on what that was. We altered the state of your breathing. Now, breathing is, like I said, is really cool because it does two things for your body. It either calms us down, reducing some of that stress, or if we've been sitting for a long time, then it energizes us, brings us to a point, it gives us energy in our body. And the word prana is a word for breath in the yoga world, and that means energy, right? So it's super easy that we're bringing that back in. So I'm going to give you a couple things to think about here. And if you're interested in, I have a whole sheet of these. If you're interested in that, send me an email. I'll give you my contact information afterwards. I'm happy to give you some more information about all of these in writing. But our basic breath sounds really easy. But if I asked you to notice where your breath is coming into your body today, if you've come from a stressful situation, hopefully you've started to settle that down since you're listening to me. But if you've come somewhere stressful, we tend to bring our breath high up into our chest. It's that shallow breath. But if you can bring that breath all the way down into your belly, expanding it in all directions, nice deep inhale, big breath, exhale, super easy. We're just starting to regulate that breathing system. If you can take a deep breath in and a big breath out in repeated ways, we're sending a signal to our mind that says, hey, we're okay. We're not getting chased by a tiger. Things are going to be fine. We can get through this. So even if you feel like you're in the most stressful situation, regardless what it is, work, home, school, relationships, finances, whatever it is, just take a deep breath in and a big breath out. That's the quickest, easiest signal for your body to say, hey, I'm okay. You want something a little faster, a little more complicated than that, and not super complicated. A box breath is a great way to do this. So for a box breath, we inhale for a count of 4, we hold for a count of 4, we exhale for a count of 4, and then hold again at the bottom of the breath for a count of 4. So we go sort of in this box, right? Inhale, hold, exhale, hold. Now, some people really like this breath because it's really equal, right? We're doing counts of 4 all the way around. Some people find it really confining because it feels like it's in a box. You decide what works for you. I'm not gonna, you get to pick. This is your life, you choose. This is another one that has a little more flexibility. Here we're inhaling for a breath of 4, holding at the top for a count of 7, and then exhaling for a count of 8. By exhaling longer than we're inhaling, we're pushing all that stale oxygen that we just sort of hold into our bodies. We're making sure we have time to move that out. There are lots of other calming pieces here, but I want you to get the sense that any of these on this list and others that I can share with you as well, just allow your body to calm, which I'm guessing most of us have some stressful events in our lives that this would be helpful for. Again, can you see, nobody's going to know that. Nobody's going to call us like, hey, Jeff, I just noticed that you were box breathing. Can you keep that down? It's not going to happen, right? On the flip side, sometimes we've been sitting for too long in our cars, at our desks, watching TV. So here's some pieces that will energize your body. So there's an alternate nostril breathing, and I'm going to demonstrate this really quickly. But if you take your first 2 fingers here and put them at your head, and you're going to block your nose with one, and then inhale on the side that's open. And then as you get to the top of that breath, we're going to close that open nostril with your ring finger, lift your thumb and breathe out that side. Inhale through the thumb side, exhale through the ring finger side. So we're kind of like, if you imagine some straws, we're like coming up one side of our body, holding, and then letting out the other side, and then coming in and letting it go. So here's your trivia point for your next cocktail party. We have a dominant nostril that changes every 88 minutes. Does anybody know that? Is that cool? You don't think of that. So this balances that out and it brings tons of oxygen into your system. Lion's breath, super fun one if you've got kids, super fun one if you're in the car and you don't want somebody to pull out in front of you. But here we're just going to breathe in really deep breath. And on an exhale, we're going to imagine the tip of your tongue can reach the bottom of your chin and sort of let go like a lion. So we're going to breathe in and then exhale, nice and loud. Now, this is a great one for your jaw. This is a great one for all of the muscles in your neck. Again, if you've got kids, I do this in front of my teenagers. They're not always that fond of it. I do it in the car when you're feeling stressed out, but it's going to release all the tension in your neck and jaw. And then the breath of joy is a bigger one. So if people might know that you're doing this one, but you're going to lift your arms out here, lift them up on an inhale, and then exhale and bring all that breath back out. So this is a really super energetic breath that you can play with, excuse me, if you need more oxygen in your system. You might also think about some simple stretches. The energy gets stuck in our bodies, and some gentle movement helps it get unstuck. So some basic neck and shoulder rolls, you can practice these now, right? So shoulders go up towards your ears. If they're not, they're already, bring it back and then down. And if you're hearing any like crinkling or cracking, this means you might want to consider doing it more because those areas are tight. So play with those. You can also go forward. We tend to roll forward when we're online or doing something. So rolling backwards is a nice way to do that.
Yeah, I have to tell you, it sounds like I'm crumpling a paper bag at my desk right now, just so you know.
Me too, and I practice yoga a lot. It's been a tough week, right? So yeah, practice this. Again, if you've got other family members, get out there and start playing with that. Eagle arms is a way to take your arms out. We'll take one arm here, and then the other one sort of wraps around. Doing this, let's wrap around here. And this one, you're going to feel right between your shoulder blades. And if you can lift I know we all look sort of like pencils here, but if you can lift your elbows any amount, you just change the function, like the placement of that stretch. So you can sort of play with this up and down. If you can't reach the palms of your hands, give yourself just a big hug. Like that's good too. You can start feel that right between there, and then just lift your elbows a little bit, and then just make sure you do both sides so you get a little love on each side. But hopefully that'll start to loosen things up too. Twisting, we don't tend to do a lot of twisting, so you can just literally sit right up in your chair, and if you've got handles on it with arms on it, right, you can sort of hold onto the arms and just pull that way. If you do this from a crunch position, you're not going to get very far, but if you lift a little higher, you'll be able to go in both directions. And one direction might feel different than the other. It's way based on the way we sleep or the way we carry bags or kids or whatever. And then a gentle back bend is always good too, right? So here you can just put your hand right behind your head and then just lean back and turn your gaze up toward the sky. Just give yourself a nice little back bend. Anybody feeling a little better now that we've got those rocking and rolling? All right. I'm going to talk about meditation. This is one of those words that everybody's like, oh, I know I should meditate. I know it's something I need to add to my list. I don't have time to do it. I'm going to challenge you that if you don't have time to do it, there's a saying that if you don't have time to do it, you probably need to do more of it to help settle you down. So meditation can take on lots of different forms. Again, it does not need to be fancy yoga cushions and all that good stuff. So one of the things you can do is just some quiet breathing, kind of like what we've been doing already. Counting your breath in, counting your breath out. Counting it in, counting it out. Meditation, some people feel that exercise is really meditative. People who run get into that meditative piece. Walking is very meditative and also very grounding, especially if you can do it outside and really feel the earth below you. I can't tell you how many pairs of walking shoes I went through during the pandemic, because that was my source of meditation. It also got me out of the house away from everybody else and connected me with the earth and grounded me. But my husband kept saying, why are you getting more sneakers? Because I'm walking 8 miles a day. That was just part of my thing. So note that if that works for you, that could be your meditation. I have a good friend and coaching colleague who says, oh, Kim, I know you talk about meditation all the time, but I just can't do it. I can't do it. And yet she's always posting photographs online of these amazing images that she's created. And I said, so when you go out and photograph something, do you sort of like lose yourself in the moment and just ground and be present? You can sort of see the colors, you listen, you're looking at the lighting, you've got all these things. So that's your meditation. She was like, oh, thank goodness I don't have to sit still and quiet, right? You don't, right? That might be what your meditation is, if that's something to you. Chopping vegetables can be really meditative, right? I have some friends who just love to chop vegetables, and that's, it's the same routine thing. You're not thinking, you're kind of getting out of your head and just focusing on not cutting your fingers and the size of the dice that you're doing or whatever it might be. Perhaps for you, it's painting or creating art of some kind. We often think that, to be artistic, we have to be able to paint or draw, and that's not necessarily the case. I grew up with a friend who was very good she was a very good artist. She could draw really, really well. And I couldn't. So I got labeled like not the creative one, but my creativity comes in lots of other ways. I created this presentation. I create lots of things for my clients. I create meals for my kids. You might create the way that you dress, or the way that you design your garden or whatever, right? So think about how that works. Petting your pet. I had a hard time. I don't know if this is the right vocabulary. Petting your pet. I don't know what the right word is, but being with your pet and patting them is very relaxing and meditative. And so if that's the way that, and maybe walking your pet might be work as well too. So think about, what your meditation looks like for you. I'm curious if anybody has any other thoughts about meditation here, any other things that you would add to the list. Somebody said they do this while they are brushing their teeth. Meditate while you brush your teeth. That's a great way to do it. Just kind of, you could do that, come to your senses, like, how does it feel? How does it taste? What am I smelling? The toothpaste, like those kinds of things. Awesome. Anything else anybody does for meditation? Anything else anybody would share? Singing is a great way to do this. I sing a lot. Actually, I was singing, I don't even think I told this to Jeff, but I did a song and dance before. I did a little jig before I started here. So yeah, singing is a great way to unplug, whether it's in your car, you're doing it walking around, or just in your house and dancing, moving that piece. All right, Jeff, remind me what my other polls are. Did we miss them, or do we have any more to add yet, or no?
No, I think this is the time for the second poll. So we're gonna go ahead and share this with everybody.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
I have to tell you, Kim, it's been a while since I twisted and just even stretched my body. So that is resonating with me. And certainly the breathing, I think, is awesome. I always forget how
we always forget
what difference it can make.
Yeah, definitely. Cool. All right. So Jeff put up another poll: which mindfulness practice resonates the most with you? And I gave you a single choice here, but so pick the one that most breathing, come to your senses, gratitude, meditation. If there's anything different, you can put that in the chat. Somebody says, yeah, transcendental meditation is pretty intense meditation. Sometimes it works for people and sometimes it doesn't. And here's the thing, like, my goal for you is to find something that works for you, right? If I tell you that you need to go for a walk, like I do, and you don't like walking, then don't do it. I don't run. I have a bad knee. I don't do that. I don't like to chop vegetables. I delegate that to my kids. So find something that's relaxing for you. The other piece I really do, I didn't put this on here, is a jigsaw puzzle. That's really relaxing for me. I've done over 30 puzzles since the beginning of the pandemic. And we do 1,000 pieces, but don't mess with anything less than that, but think about what works for you. All right, you got any results here, Jeff?
Yeah, we most folks have I think maybe folks are having a tough time picking, Kim, but let's I'll go ahead and share what everybody had to say. You should see that now.
Yeah, breathing, meditation, come to your senses, gratitude. Okay, awesome. Then some other people, yeah, jigsaw puzzles are great to relax. I agree. Knitting, singing, dancing do the trick for you. Puzzles, yeah, lots of puzzles. So yeah, do what works for you. This is your goal, right? All right, so far I've told you what the impact on your body is if we are stressed and we don't slow down and take time to be mindful. And I've given you some strategies for doing that. And now you're thinking, well, Kim, how do I have time for this? I'm so busy. I don't have time to work on this. So I'm going to give you some strategies for this, and then we'll open up for some questions here at the end. I didn't share this before, but self-care is different than selfish, right? Selfish, some people think that self-care is a selfish practice and not something that we should be doing. Selfish to me is somebody who eats the last piece of cake in front of you and not offering to share it. That's selfish. Self-care is refilling your cup, like we talked about before at the beginning, right? Is taking care of you so that you can be a better person, so that you can be kinder, so that you can give to others, so you can contribute, so you can be present, all of those kinds of things. So self-care is a real important piece in my book. And it's important to make it a priority. Just state the claim. This is what I'm going to do for myself. One of my other classes, I actually give you a permission slip that you can print out and write your name in. But I give you permission for self-care. It's that important. Schedule it 10, 30 minutes a day, twice, 2 or 3 times a week, once a month. Maybe you can't do it every day, but maybe once a month you get to hang out with some friends or go take a photo shoot. Maybe 2 or 3 times a week you can pull out your paints or your puzzle. I leave my puzzle right on my kitchen table so that I can spend, if I get 10 minutes in between whatever I'm doing, or the kids are in the kitchen hanging around, I can sit and do that and do something mindful and decompress a little bit. Set your boundaries, know what you are capable and what you are not capable of. Think about the list that keeps you busy. And is there anything there that's not adding joy to your life that you're doing because you feel like you should do it and not because you want to do it? Is there anything there you can, I know, as family members, sometimes there are things you just need to do, but are there ways that you can share that or set your boundaries? Somebody asked me to be part of the PTO at the school recently, and I said, let me think about it. And I came back and I said, no, thank you. I don't have time to do that in my schedule right now. And I was with this woman who asked me, another friend, a few days later, and she said, I asked him and she said, no. And I said, no, thank you. And I'm protecting my boundaries so that I have time to do the things that are most important to me. So think about how you could do that. Delegate or let go of what you can. I know it's, and I'm guilty of this in a big way, but I like to do things myself. I like to do it my way. This is why I work by myself, because I don't like to play by somebody else's rules, right? But what can you delegate? What can you let go of? I just had a lot of my graphics redone. I could have done it myself, but I had somebody else do it and they were super cool. So what else can you delegate or let go of? Find an accountability buddy, a coworker, a family member, a friend. Put something in your phone that says, hey, it's time for you to meditate. It's time for you to go for a walk. It's time for you to take a deep breath. I know some people's smartphones, watches, right, have little buzzing things that say, take a breath if that's what it's going to take. Get it on the calendar and track it. These are really important pieces to just make sure that you take care of it. And there's tons of free trackers online. A lot of the things, and this might be something to think about, how many of the things that are keeping you busy are just habit? Something like 40% of the things we do during the course of the day we do because they're habit. We don't even know why we do them. So can you think about being mindful and think about why you are doing these, and can you let them go? Great book on habits, Atomic Habits by James Clear, one of my favorite books. I've read multiple times, highly recommend it. Lots of opportunity for tracking. And like I said, lots of tracking online too. All right, where do we do this? In your office, home office, work office, you can do these breathing exercises, gratitude, come to your senses, pretty much everywhere. Maybe not chopping vegetables unless your office is the kitchen, but I'll let you decide that. On the bus, train, subway, whatever your mode of transportation might be. In your car, not while driving. I mentioned again, at a stoplight is a great place to take a deep breath, to recognize what you're grateful for. How many times have you been at a stoplight, right? And somebody pulled ahead of you and cuts you off, and then you hit the red light. You're like, oh, that person made it. You get to the next red light and they're next to you. They didn't get any further ahead. And you had time to take a deep breath while you were waiting there. Find a favorite room in your home to do some of this practicing, or get outside and find some place to do it. Now that classes are opening up, find a class that's going to allow you to slow down and do something for you to refill your cup. Before, during a meeting, a class, an event, unless you're doing the presentation, take some deep breaths while you're watching somebody. You could do it now. I'm not going to know you're doing any deep breathing or that you're stretching or that you're, writing your gratitude practice. I always think waiting in line is a fun one, right? How much time do we spend waiting in line someplace, right? Whether you're at Costco or you're waiting in line to get gas in your car, or you're waiting in line for pickup for your kids, or you're waiting in line for traffic. add that into your practice. So again, anytime, anywhere. This is my mantra. You can do this anywhere you'd like. So to recap here, we talked about why slowing down is essential, why it's so important to our bodies to slow down. And there's another statistic, I'm not big on statistics, something like 60% of doctor office visits are related to stress-related illnesses. 60%, that's a lot. I offered you some simple strategies for slowing down, and I hope I provided some opportunities for you to create mindfulness in your own schedule. So in terms of next steps, I'm going to invite you to notice times when you're moving too fast, and how can you slow down? Can you just take a deep breath? Of all of the things that I've shared with you today, can you choose just one thing that you can implement today? Breathing is super easy. Practice taking deep breaths when you feel like they're moving too fast. And connect with me on LinkedIn. I often share other tips and things on here too. One final piece here before I give you my contact information. I'm in the process of creating some inspiration cards that will help you, guide you to give you some clarity, confidence, connection, and calm. Those are my 4 C's in the way that I do my coaching practice. I'm super excited about them. The design is in place. So if you are interested in doing that, you can take this QR code. I will give you, just ask you for your email address, and that's it. So if that's of interest for you, I would love to have you join me in celebrating the release of those cards soon. My goal is in the next 4 to 6 weeks. And then finally, all my contact information is here. So feel free to email me, check out more information on my website. And of course, please connect with me on LinkedIn. Just let me know that you're here with me today, so I know who you are. I get lots of connection requests. So at this point, I think I have one more poll.
Yeah.
And then we'll open up for
while we have folks take a look at this, I want to remind everybody to take this chance to type in your question for Kim. We've got a few more minutes here before we have to pull the plug. So there's a couple things that are coming in through the chat, but feel free to let us know what your questions are for Kim while we have her.
All right, so as a result of all the things that I've shared with you today, are you ready to start a meditation practice? And again, meditation doesn't need to be sitting quietly and breathing. It could be walking, moving, chopping vegetables, reading, doing puzzles. So I have a definitely yes, maybe if I can find the time, or no thanks. I think we're at least in the top. I hope we're in the top category here.
So this is we're just about everybody's answered this. So let me go ahead and share that. We still have some folks that are worried about finding the time. I love this red light idea. I'm going to put that into practice immediately, Kim.
Yeah, do it with your kids too. Like tell everybody, like, all right, we're at a red light. Everybody take a deep breath in. And out.
I love that. Yeah.
Works. Yeah, I think that's great. All right. Well, thank you. I'm going to leave out my contact information here for a minute, and then I'll jump back to the QR code if anybody wants to hop in and connect with me that way too. And then Jeff, do you have some questions for?
Yeah, there's a couple. MJ wanted to note everybody that there's an app called Aloe Bud that sends friendly reminders for self-care. I'm going to have to check that out. Thanks, MJ.
Yeah.
Albrecht, I'm not quite understanding that these 4 qualities are also part of the self. And what is IFS? Kim, do you know what IFS is?
I don't know. No.
Yeah. Albrecht, maybe you can elaborate for us. So Jinjo wrote in and said she just graduated from BU, now working as a robotics software engineer. After joining work, I feel really tired after every day. And when I get home, I just want to relax and have some easy joy. I definitely identify with that, Jinjo. I feel like I don't have energy and time to think deep, don't even know what to think. Kim, where does Jinjo get started?
Yeah, do something that brings you joy. Do something that's fun. Go for a walk around the block. It doesn't have to be a big practice. You don't have to run a marathon. Just go for a walk. Take some deep breaths. See if that makes a difference. Find something that is relaxing and meditative to you. You know, if you're feeling really tired, then the career coach had of me is thinking, are you in the right job? Is it not lighting your fire there? Or are you spending too much time commuting? Is your diet playing a role in this? Are you sleeping well at night? Is there a way that you can, oh, you know what, that piece I didn't add in was journaling. Sometimes people feel that is very meditative, right? To just write in, just write whatever's happening, just let it come through you as sort of as a channel. So not sure if that's helpful for you, but pick something on these lists that I shared today and find something that's going to bring that energy back into your world.
RT sharing Headspace as an interesting app for meditation. RT, if you happen to work or go to school at BU, I believe that BU is now providing free Headspace for everybody that's part of the community. I'm not sure about alumni, but it might be worth looking into.
Right.
Albrecht's mentioning something about internal family systems, that the 4 qualities you were talking about earlier were also part of the self and internal family systems. I'm not familiar with that.
I'm not familiar with that either.
Fiona's just commenting that the most difficult thing for her is to just clear her head of all the minutia in her life.
Yeah. So here's the thing, Fiona, your brain is not meant to not work. It's meant to think. So part of that is just detaching from the emotion that goes with it, right? So if you can sit quietly and you've taken some deep breaths and you're like, oh, I got to work on that project at work, let it go. It'll be there when you're done. Just focus on your breathing, right? So let those thoughts come through. You can't stop them. You don't want to stop them. You want to be able to have your brain keep moving. But don't worry about the chatter. The more you do this, the less chatter there is. And there are days I have a regular meditation practice. I actually do 2 meditations a day. I do one in the morning. I do one again in the afternoon. And I have times that my morning one tends to be sort of quiet. Depends on what I've got going on that day, but my afternoon one is often a lot of chatter. So let it be chatter, write it down if you want, let it go, right? Oh, I got to return that email to Jeff. I've got to do this. I've got to do that. Like, let it go, but don't worry about it not being quiet. It's supposed to be quiet. I mean, it's not supposed to be quiet.
Well, Kim, this is awesome. I love that you came up with career inspirationalist, because in the work that we've done together and the presentations that I've facilitated for you, I'm not a career coach, but I present these sessions every month, and I've been doing so for 10 years now. And it helps me understand that for folks that are feeling stuck, for people that don't know what they're good at, people don't know what they want to do next, that it's hard to get there without incorporating some of this sort of mindfulness and slowing down to really focus on those motivations and the things that make you happy. So I love how you've put these 2 things together. And a lot of folks are weighing in with the same in the chat. So thank you so much for doing this.
You are very welcome. Yeah, you hit on a good point, right? It's hard to know if you don't know where you're going, you can get there, right? So if I said, hey, Jeff, it's lunchtime, let's go grab a bite to eat. And you're like, yeah, what do you want? I don't know. What do you want? I don't know. What do you want? It's going to take us a really long time to get there. But if you say, I don't know, fill in the blank, where would you go? Best pizza place. Then we let go of the burgers. We let go of the tacos. We let go of the salads, right? We just go find a really good pizza, and then we can start to focus. But you definitely need some clarity in order to move forward, which gives you confidence, right?
Right.
So.
Absolutely. Well, we are this, idea of mindfulness, providing that kind of balance in your life between work and your life, where our team is focused on that for this entire month. And so I hope that all of you that are interested in the topic will join us for our next alumni career event on April 26th. That's a Wednesday. We're going to be hosting an alumni panel discussion. We're calling it Unicorns, Narwhals, and Work-Life Balance. Which of these is real? To get people, folks' perspective on how they've found or not found balance in their life, the strategies that they've used, and the advice that they would share. So you can register for that event now on our website, bu.edu/alumni. I hope all of you, if you haven't yet, will check out BU Connects. It's a great place to connect with folks like Kim and other people from the university community that are working in this space, particularly around mindfulness. It's a great way to do that. So, Kim, I can't remember how many of these presentations you've done for us. I want to say it's 5 or 6, but they've all been outstanding. I'm going to make sure when I follow up with folks after the fact, I send out some of the other recordings that we have of your presentations in the past. But we appreciate you so much. Thank you so much for sharing this with everybody.
Thanks for having me. This was great. I hope and again, I invite anybody to connect with me, and I'm happy to set up time to chat if any of this resonated with you. This is also part of a smaller program. So this is part of a 6-week program that I run as well. So if that's of interest for you, let me know, and I'm happy to share that information as well.
Awesome. Well, Kim, you
Thanks,
mentioned the hockey team playing in the Frozen Four this Thursday. We've got BU Giving Day next week. I hope all of you will share some of your dollars with the university in a way that allows you to feel some impact. Thank you to everybody that's donated in the past, and I hope all of you have a great day or a great evening wherever you might be. Take care.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, Kim.